Hi, I'm Jack Baruzzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Father Cory Sticha. Hi, Father.
Howdy, Jack.
And Lisa Jones. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs. Hey, Victor.
Hi, Jack.
Today we're discussing the 13th episode of Season 6, Sight Unseen. SG-1 brings back a device from a planet once inhabited by the Ancients. Jonas Quinn starts seeing insect-like beings that no one else can. Initially dismissed as hallucinations due to quadria poisoning or exhaustion, he is vindicated when more people begin to witness these creatures, including Jack on his way to a weekend of fishing. Sam and Jonas investigate the device and discover that it causes interdimensional bleed-through, allowing people to see beings from another dimension. As the team works to counteract its effects, Hammond declares a quarantine of Colorado Springs and the surrounding area. Sam and Jonas eventually find a way to reverse the effects of the device by reconfiguring its crystals. While all this is going on, Jack tracks down a Gulf War veteran who broke quarantine and convinces him to trust the government this time for real. Yep.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on this episode, Father?
It's an episode. It's fun. It's silly. The bugs actually look kind of cool with all the multicolors and stuff. And they look, menacing, but they're like absolutely nothing burger as far as that's concerned. But otherwise, it's an episode.
Yeah. It's got some good comedy bits. But yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can say about it.
So thanks for listening. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
What about you, Lisa?
I'm kind of on the same page. It was fun. It's a fun episode. There's, half the time I'm like, why did you bring it back to the gate? Why don't you turn it off? Like, you're talking back to the TV. But I watched it with my 17-year-old and she was like, but it's fun. It's just fun. And I'm like, okay, I will go with that description of it. She really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Victor?
Yeah, I wish that this episode, Sight Unseen, was unseen by me.
Oh,
because I do not like it at all. I think it's one of of the weakest episode of season 6 so far, and probably the weakest Emancipation was bad, but at least it was entertaining bad. This is just boring. And some of the comedy bits are just death. The scene with the grandmother is like the most cringe scene I think we ever see in Stargate. I just don't like this episode. I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, and there are like, okay, well, like, bring the device back, or okay, who cares? There's no stakes. The other characters aren't compelling. A lot of like there's a lot of people we see get touched because being able to see the creatures is passed by touch, and they never follow up on that. The truck driver who gives Vernon a ride, yeah. We never follow up on that. He's driving off someplace. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's a pointless episode. It's pointless and dumb, and I don't like it.
So we can mark Victor as not with the Sam and Jonas ship.
Sam and Jonas ship? What?
With the scene with the grandma.
The scene with the grandma.
Oh, yeah.
You two make a beautiful couple, and they do the aren't you nice? Pat the hand.
Yeah. Well, Jonas is like, wait, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with this episode is that they don't lean enough into the comedy of weird bugs being everywhere. Like, they should have done kind of like that montage in Ghostbusters where all the ghosts are coming out. Like, just go full in on the wackiness of it.
I believe
they
it's
don't really
magic,
do that.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
There's like one scene where 3 of the blue and yellow caterpillars, take off, and that's about it, where they really kind of have a massive number. Otherwise, it's just like 1 or 2
just every so often. Yeah.
And they do a lot of talking, like telling us. There's that scene in the conference room where they're telling us just how bad it could be if like average people saw these things, and like catastrophic. Like the world could end.
Yeah.
It's like,
and we never
that
get
was
those
5
stakes.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You get
after,
like one guy that runs to the airport, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the tone with Vernon, poor Vernon, it's like, oh, he's this wacky comedy character who has a wacky grandma who's a conspiracy theorist. Oh, but he's also suffering from Gulf War syndrome or something. So you're like,
yeah, he has like
PTSD from the war.
from the
yeah,
war.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's hilarious.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like weird tonal shifts. Yeah. There's just a lot about the device itself that just doesn't make any sense. You know, it's an ancient device with Gould writing on the crystals.
Yeah.
The Jonas can't read.
And of course they reverse the polarity on the crystals to solve it by pulling all the crystals out and then randomly inserting them in different orders. And I thought it would be funny if they like inserted it and like, you know, weird things happened if they got it wrong. Like Sam had like 2 heads or something. And,
Well, see, I hadn't seen this episode in years. You know, little wonder why. But I thought there was going to be, for some reason, I had in my mind that they were going to set the crystals one way, and the bugs would actually start getting aggressive.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
You know, but no, and I think that was something else. That was something else from another show I was thinking of. But for some reason, I thought there was like where they'd actually start attacking someone, and then they would, oh, that was wrong, and they'd find the right pattern type of deal.
Yeah, because I feel like they did the crystal thing just so there could be a resolution to the plot, because there wasn't really a plot and they didn't have any sort of anything interesting going on. And it's just like, oh, let's try the different configurations. And then we cut to a different scene, and then we cut back and they're like, this is the last configuration. Hey, it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
and you just start taking crystals and just randomly, like every different order could do something different with this machine. So let's just try it all out. Really?
Yeah.
8 to the 9. How many? Like there's like 9 crystals or something. So it's not like there's a small number of combinations to, if you're putting each one in each different slot. But
let's turn them all clockwise. Now let's turn them all counterclockwise.
Yeah, that's right. We did that.
Yeah.
I thought that there were like, and I could be misunderstanding this, but I don't feel like there was a lot to misunderstand in this episode. I think there was only like a few combinations based on like the shapes of the crystals or something.
That could be it,
Yeah.
That wasn't
round peg in a square hole type of thing.
Yeah.
Going back to telling instead of showing, there's even a scene where Teal'c is standing there. And they say, oh, Teal'c said this and Teal'c thinks that.
Yeah.
And all you see is Christopher Judge going to smile and nod.
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
It's like, why didn't they just have Teal'c actually, I don't know, say it?
Oh, that's his I told you so face or something. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Teal'c said that this would happen or something. He's like,
yep,
I told you so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the problem with this episode just starts right off the bat with the only way any of this really works is you have to have all the characters acting like total morons, because they get back from the planet and they have this strange device that they don't understand. And Jonas touched it first, which they mention. And then he starts seeing things. And instead of being like, hey, we've had weird stuff happen all the time when we bring things back through the Stargate, why not trust him? They're like, oh, he's probably just exhausted. Like,
or he's starting to suffer from
sense.
the quadria poisoning.
Yeah. They did what they did to Carter in Ascension. Remember where she sees Orlin, the alien, and they're like, you're just exhausted. You need to go home and take a nap.
Yeah. You're just having women
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't
this
know
is like Jonas is just having alien problems.
Yeah.
And he can't leave the base still. I didn't realize that. It's like, oh, well, you've all earned some vacation time. Jack, go fishing. And then, it's just like, I've read every book here and I can't leave the base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
Hearing Teal'c say that you don't want to get invited fishing, that it's horrible, like he hates it, that was gold for me. I loved that moment.
Yeah.
They also missed the perfect opportunity to have some comedy with having Jack actually get to his fishing place and then have him like pull up his reel and have one of those things be on the end of it. Like,
that would have been good.
Opportunities they could have used that they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wonder where the plot came from. And I wonder if somebody's like, hey, we had this idea to show off our cool whatever skills. And we could make cool little bugs everywhere and, colorful. And it'd be so cinematically beautiful or something, whatever. I don't know CGI then or what they use, but it's just like, oh, we have this technology. We could use it. Well, what's the episode going to be about? I don't know, but they'd be really cool.
Yeah, no, and these effects aren't even like the show's done much better effects.
Yeah.
So I wonder if someone in the art department got a new plugin for After Effects and was like, let's use this. And I'm like, sure, go for it.
Unreal 2 engine or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doodling it with 3D CAD, and I came up with this really cool caterpillar looking thing. Can we use that?
Yeah. And the bugs themselves like don't behave like consistently. Like you see them crawling on the device and then they like blip out through the wall. And you're wondering, it's like, well, how could they crawl on the device? And it's like, well, somehow they're able to crawl on the device and then blip out through the walls.
They just
they have some way to they can interact with some of our world.
Yeah, and another great one is when Jonas is trying to like decipher the writing. He's like, yeah, so there's something about the layer beneath the layer, and then Sam's like, oh, you mean like another dimension?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the weirdest. Just the weirdest episode. Like the way it was written, the way the plot goes, and the way they just kind of skim over all of it, and it's like weird bugs. Cool.
Yeah.
That don't do anything. Like,
yeah.
There were no stakes in this episode, really.
Well, they
well,
look,
no, they
some
said
of them
that.
look evil, like that mosquito flying thingy looked, that thing looked mean, and it did absolutely nothing but fly through a wall.
Yeah.
No, the stakes were that the whole world could panic.
Yeah.
And they're not ready for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
After having gone through the past couple of years, I feel like there'd be a way to manage this pretty easily.
A virus from another country that causes complete total hallucinations, and that's what you really have. You might feel fine, but you really have it, and so you
just need a shot or a pill.
Yeah.
Or just hold hands. I mean,
that
was
the way to cover it, was to actually give them a sugar pill, give them a placebo pill.
Yeah.
And so of course you make sure to touch hands as they're giving them the pill.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not just say you're delusional? It must be a fever, and then touch them and it goes away. And they're like, wow, that was weird.
Apparently it took two people to write this story.
Oh.
Yeah, one to do the screenplay.
Yeah, Ron Wilkerson and Damian Kindler, yeah.
Yeah, story editor, and then Damian Kindler writes a lot of episodes for Stargate.
I wonder if he was the fixer.
Just wasn't, needed some more time in the story oven or something.
They also, it's funny that you get like a lot of Jack front loaded on the front and then on the end, but then through the bulk of the episode we get like 4 shots of him just driving in his car with a headset on. Like,
really?
Yeah, did you love the headset?
Really awesome.
Old school hands-free.
Old school Logitech, whatever, like creative sound blaster.
That was cool.
Hands-free before hands-free was cool.
Yeah.
And Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Motorola, those flip phones.
Yep.
Oh, I did like that.
Well, the old StarTech, those things were great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they almost went fishing again.
Yeah, they almost went fishing again.
Yeah. There was Jell-O.
There was Jell-O. I don't know if it keeps to the whole red and blue Jell-O.
Well, it was yellow this time.
Yeah.
See, because Jack wasn't there, so she couldn't eat the regular color Jell-O, so she had to go with yellow.
Some kind of like banana Jell-O with like actual banana or something in it, which is a good thing. I mean, that's good, but
I thought maybe it was lemon. She was thinking about Rodney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lemon a day keeps the Rodney away.
That's right. Speaking of which, I think he's eventually winds up back at Area 51, and that's where they want to ship the device so it can be studied more. But yeah, I'm just looking on the Gate World wiki here, and 318 people have voted this episode excellent. So
really?
I don't know if there's a way to track them down and ask them what about this episode.
That is a listener question.
Yeah.
If you thought this episode was excellent or very good, we need to hear from you.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
What was it?
We need to do a poll on the Discord.
Yeah, I'll put that up when this episode comes out.
Yeah.
Send us an email, comment on YouTube, whatever.
I do love the last conversation though between Jack and Vernon. Well, they're aliens. Well, where are they from?
Yeah,
Melmac.
Yeah.
Is that where Alf is from? You know, Alf on TV, the puppet.
Never seen it.
And even that is just like, is that supposed to? I don't know. It just like.
Okay, I read in line why they made another Alf reference, which I didn't know because I watched Alf as a kid. Evidently, it ran opposite MacGyver.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
On a competing network, but
That explains how he never saw it.
That's so random.
Yeah.
But I was watching with my 17-year-old and they said the Alf thing and she's like, what's Alf? And I'm like,
hey,
how do I explain that?
Yeah.
Willie, no problem. Just say that over and over again. I have not seen your cat.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, the whole Vernon subplot, which I guess is the most interesting thing about this episode, is tonally just way off because he's supposed to be like this wacky, goofy kind of oddball guy who runs the bait shop / gas station, but he's really suffering from terrible PTSD, and then he's getting tricked by the government again, and it's played for laughs.
And literally, Jack pulls a gun at him because he sees the bug for the first time and starts shooting at him, and the guy thinks he's being robbed by him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get Vernon's grandmother, who again is supposed to be another comedic character, but and then has these conspiracies and stuff. And then as they're walking out, like Sam is like, just our luck, like we run into a conspiracy nut, and Jonas is like, well, she's not wrong. There is a cover up happening here.
Right. But you notice in that scene and the one with Vernon at the end with Jack, Sam and Jack, they both kind of end up telling the truth.
Yeah.
Especially with Vernon, he does tell him the truth. And the world isn't ready for this, and you have to keep it quiet, and we're going to make it go away for you, and we're going to take care of it. And so you're kind of like, I felt like it was almost like an after-school special for a moment about vets and PTSD. It's like you just made fun of him, but then we're going to fix it and acknowledge that you were correct.
I think that was just going off of the fact that no one's going to believe him when he says that it was actually aliens because he's so wacky, and so he's just being taken advantage of, really.
Yeah, the whole bit with Alf at the end is kind of insulting to Vernon, too.
Yeah.
And Vernon even says, that's from Alf. I know that's from Alf. And then Jack is like, just pulling your chain. Like, no, it's like, I've never seen it, so you must believe that Alf is real or something. I don't know. It's just like they don't treat Vernon or his grandmother fairly or consistently, I don't think. But
no. I did kind of like the grandma, though.
Yeah.
I got to say. I can't remember. She used a word that I haven't heard in 30 years, but I can't remember what it was now. It was like one of those old, I don't say country, kind of old grandma words. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, about Vernon's friends or something.
Yeah.
Bad news or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and they mention, so when they're talking to the grandma, she mentions this guy, Chuck, who doesn't have another name, and we never see or hear anything about Chuck. I was expecting him to get to Area 51 and Chuck was actually going to be like an NID agent or something.
You were trying to make something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Chuck lived in Vegas, maybe?
Yeah, that's what they were implying. They didn't even say that because that was you're not going to believe where he's at. That look that grandma gave, kind of like, well, kind of like, I know where he lives and you're not going to like this kind of thing. But
yeah, it's just.
Yeah. And the local airport apparently is in a hotel or something. It's a regional airport, so I guess it's going to be.
Yeah, it was kind of a small, different airport. I did get a kick out of, though. So the plane that Vernon hid in, it was Anderson Air, as in Richard Dean.
Okay.
Oh,
But
nice.
then, so they did, I'm assuming, unless they found an aircraft that was actually affiliated with the air company called Anderson Air. But then Jack stands in front of an aircraft for WestX with the Canadian maple leaf in the logo. They didn't even bother to cover that up.
Kind of like the Colorado plates on Vernon's car or something that really are Washington plates.
It was the driver's license.
Yeah, the driver's license. That was it. Yeah. Yeah.
It has a picture of George Washington on it, apparently.
Yeah. This
I did
is definitely one of these, hey, we've got an open slot in our lineup. We've got all these episodes planned, but we need to fill this one. Hey, here's a story. Great. Shoot it.
And it can't
It's not
cost
even done
any
yet.
extra money.
Yeah.
Or very little.
And you think about it, except for the airport, I think
And a couple
everything was either in the base or outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you got the gas station
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then a lot of driving.
And I think, I know in 2 episodes is a really Jack heavy episode, Paradise Lost. I mean, that is really all Jack and somebody else. But the next one, I think that one's I can't remember. Maybe it's more Carter, than Jack. But I was just thinking he's got some episodes that are really involved. So maybe they were giving him a little easy shooting schedule this time around. One of those like, let's just get a couple shots of you and driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody with him. Think about it. Nobody else was with him a lot of the time.
That was actually him like driving to his vacation. Did he
Yeah.
have like a little GoPro in the car or something?
We'll take a mile. We'll film it. We're done. You can go take the rest of the week off. We'll see you at the end.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he was in in his working clothes for the whole episode. That was actually just what he was wearing that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the opening. Yeah.
We're watching and my husband goes, I had a jacket just like that. I'm like, this was 2003. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And the very baggy jeans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what's going on with Fraser's hair, but
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
she needs to make a decision there. Like, cut it, put it up, like do something, sweetie, because it was not a good choice.
It was probably one of those, again, where she was, between other shoots. And so, she had her time off. And, oh, wait, we need you for this episode.
Yeah.
We need you
I'm
right
growing
now.
my hair out.
Yeah.
yeah. I want to find some more background on this episode because it's just
And there's nothing. There's not
There's
not much
nothing.
anything on the wiki about it.
The
There's
only
some-
thing I could find is that Malazi did not like it.
oh, that's
we're in good company then.
yeah.
Yeah. I did like, I just to say something nice about it, I did like the gas mileage discussion between Jack and Vernon, where he was razzing him on his truck's gas mileage and Jack says it's a pig, which is, you don't hear people refer to their cars as pigs anymore when they're like woefully fuel inefficient. But I did think that was a nice kind of just, human moment there.
Yeah. And the creature design was fun. Like,
yeah,
it was remarkably terrestrial, but
yeah,
at least it wasn't. There's one episode of Doctor Who I remember from a while ago where there's like a giant bug in it, but it's literally just like a giant plastic beetle. More effort than that.
Is that classic Who or new Who? No,
It was New Who, and it was actually the same kind of thing where there's like this giant beetle. I think it was on.
Oh, that attaches to your back.
That was the
And they couldn't
Donna
see
where
it.
she's turn left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where because instead of turning left, she turned right, and that changed history in this like an alternate timeline. That was actually a really good episode. That was actually really, despite the bad beetle
poor
design,
props,
it was actually a really good episode.
And wasn't it the same kind of thing where no one could see the beetle?
Well, it was actually the beetle was producing like this vision for her that was an alternate timeline.
Ah.
And where instead of her turning one way and would run into the doctor, she turned the other way and the doctor ended up dying because she wasn't there.
Ah.
And she had
And
a
what happened
remarkable
after.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the whole world had a horrible life.
Yeah.
All those events that the doctor saved were then reversed.
Yeah.
So that shows you how good this show is. We have to actually like stretch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the main idea that there's like creatures around us at all times, somewhat interacting with. I mean, I assume if they interact with our walls and tables, they can interact with us too, to a limited degree that we can't see, feel, or touch, or aren't even aware of. That's a really cool idea, but they just didn't. They turned it into like wacky adventures with grandma's cookies or something. It was like, do more with the like. What else can't we see? Like what relevance does this have for, the SGC or anything?
I mean, what they should have done, like, because I feel like with this kind of premise, you could have gone like a creepy horror direction with it and have it not be just giant beetles and caterpillars, but have it be like weird looking humanoid aliens that are like vaguely defined or something that are just like standing there in your room or something, like.
Yeah, like
the shadow people.
The shadow people. When you're like Jonas is in bed and he's like, who's this guy with the hat?
Yeah.
The Dark Man. Or what's his name?
The Hat Man.
Hat Man, that's it, yeah. Welcome to Hat Man's world.
Yeah, like that would have been interesting, but
yeah.
Bugs.
They made me bringing stuff back from other planets and turning it on.
Yeah.
It's like,
what was it? McKay was like when he insulted Carter, like she just gets lucky, or she.
Yeah, when he
he insulted her, and how she just I can't remember the word.
Even turning on the gate, she got lucky in it that it didn't,
Yeah. He called her a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Perfect example episode.
And they at the beginning they kind of just give away the whole what plot there is to give away, because Jack calls it a giant bug zapper.
Yeah. They probably thought they were being clever or something, or maybe he was just so frustrated with it he just threw that in as an ad lib and just like I just want to save the audience some time. They can turn it off after I say this line. No, it's
go watch MacGyver reruns.
Yeah.
I did love at the beginning the Jaffa sarcasm.
Yes.
The wind was most pleasant.
Yeah.
Because they love their sandy planets.
Yeah, and we didn't get any off-world anything other than they did the same thing where it's just on the screen, like, which means they filmed it in the parking lot out back.
Yeah,
we're just throwing some sand off screen.
Yeah. It's like the extreme close-ups of just
actually wouldn't
like
even
them,
have to be
like,
that. It could
framed.
Be like, it could be a green screen that they stood in front of to film it.
Yeah. Awesome. I feel like we've just about. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, the other languages had a little bit better luck with this.
Okay. Say, don't watch this episode.
Yeah. In French, we got hallucinations. Sorry about that. In Italian, visioni invisibili, invisible visions, and in German, we got die Unsichtbaren, the invisible. So. A lot of invisible world, invisible invasion. Ooh, that was a good one. Hungarian invisible invasion, but I'm not going to attempt the Hungarian.
But they didn't invade.
No, they were here, arguably. Like, they never went into like, it's like, oh, like, did they evolve in parallel with us? Did we bring them back through the Stargate at some point? Was there a rift in something that happened, or what?
They're just big bugs on an alternate Earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to say that I think this is the episode we've hated on the most since we started recording this podcast.
I don't. Yeah, it's just. And
like
it's not
first season, maybe.
Well, yeah, One False Step, I think, was up there. I'd say this is probably, and it's not that it's bad. It's just like dull and. I don't know. We've covered it. It just.
I would definitely say it's in the bottom 10% of episodes we've reviewed, but I wouldn't call it the worst. I still think we've got others that were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I like bad more than I like boring.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think that's the problem with this one. I think it was just kind of pointless and meh. I mean, there wasn't anything amazing, but it wasn't so bad like One False Step with the zippers up the back, or there's like nothing really exciting to talk about, like to tear apart.
Yeah. And it had some really cool ideas that they just they're like, here's a really cool idea. And you're like, yeah, oh, great. Oh, now we're just driving around an airport or something,
Yeah.
Potential is the word.
Yeah, potential. Yeah, and I think unrealized potential is always more disappointing than somebody who has a bad idea and is fully committed to it, I think.
And they've got us used to really good episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one was right after Unnatural Selection, which is like one of the best episodes of season 6. And yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the letdown after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely want to hear if anyone out there liked this episode and what they liked about it, because I'm definitely prepared to have my mind changed, but I don't foresee that happening. So yeah, you can if you go to our Discord at sqpn.com/discord in the Stargate channel, let us know what you thought of it.
Yep.
Awesome. Do y'all have any other thoughts on this gym?
Glad it's done.
No, I almost was sick tonight.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
Why do you think I rescheduled the recording? It's actually because I hadn't watched it yet, and
yeah.
after that, I feel like I probably could have not watched it and still run this. Awesome, but we do have some feedback on much more enjoyable episodes. Tim Goats on YouTube on our episode on Prometheus says Major Davis was a cheerleader in high school, and then he had to find a different outlet for all that pep when he got to Air Force Academy because the Academy doesn't have that program. 15 years later, he's still cheerleading. You can take away a man's pom-poms, but you can't take away his team spirit. That's my headcanon. I love that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just feel very bad for his cheer squad then because of the way disasters follow him around everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
A lot of cafeteria explosions and human pyramid collapsing. Yeah.
And Paul Leone on the same episode, Prometheus, comments, I love the steady growth of America as a space power over the years. And as far as the Alaska UFO crash goes, was it maybe a reference to this? And then he's links to a Wikipedia article about the 1964 Alaska earthquake. And he says the show Dark Skies did something along those lines. And it's one of those many natural disasters that has some odd things about it that maybe it was aliens. You never know. I just liked that they mentioned Fairbanks, which I've lived in, and it's a pretty nice place. Never saw any aliens though.
That you know of. Yeah.
I was gonna say there's a lot of weird people up in Alaska.
Maybe the moose are aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
No, that's what this first part about, seeing the technology to develop, America developing their technology and then going into space. And that is one thing I've always liked about SG-1 is it doesn't start like Star Trek does where, we're already in space and we've already got weapons and we've already got shields. And we got all these things and isn't it so great? No, it's like Earth is starting out literally with, M4s and P90s, and developing from there.
Yeah. And a couple space shuttles that, maybe make it up to orbit if your escape pod is there. As we saw in the end of season 1, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I liked how they do that as a slow burn because they could have just done the thing where first season they're getting stuff together and then second season you jump into we've got all the space technology and just go from there. But they've played this out really well.
Well, the funny part, of course, is they would get a ship that they could use and then darn it if the Tok'ra didn't make them destroy it, or darn it if they didn't crash into a planet, or darn it if they didn't get into a space battle. It's just like, wait a second.
They had to keep nerfing the SGC.
Yeah.
It'd be OP if they had a spaceship.
It makes you wonder if the Tok'ra have some ulterior motives when it comes to the Tauri developing space flight beyond rockets.
Well, they can keep getting those favors from Earth.
I don't know.
Well,
I just don't trust them.
The Tok'ra just don't want us to keep, killing Goulds and doing what they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So.
they're getting shown up.
Yep. They don't
Jack
like
should give the interdimensional bug device to the Tok'ra and just say, we think this is a weapon, have fun, you know. And then like, watch them all go nuts, like, trying to figure it out. Because it's a good prank. Like, it won't kill anybody, right? It just, like, makes them all go
Freaks
crazy.
Very annoying.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That might have been a better episode.
Yeah, it's like, what did you do with the bug device, sir? Oh, let's just say the Tok'ra have a new toy to play with or something like that.
Yeah.
And just hard
Like,
cut to the
yeah,
Tok'ra, like,
yeah, like right.
slapping themselves,
They're
trying to
based
get
in
the bugs up.
flames. They're all like, this is the end.
Next episode, we see the Tok'ra. Well, now we've taken your prank and we've actually turned it into an interdimensional portal.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye. You know?
To Bug World.
It's a giant bug cannon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We definitely want to know what y'all thought about this episode. Before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including David J., Chris E., Jonathan H., Ryan Z., and Paul E. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com, and be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and you can find the video version at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. And to find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send us feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. And you can email us at stargate@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, Smoke and Mirrors. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Thank you, Jack.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Thanks, Jack. And you're suggesting I'm delusional?
I've been subtly hinting at that since we started this, so I'm glad you're finally catching on.
Because I touched the device first, isn't it?
Yep. Never touch the device. Once again, I'm Jack Baruzzini. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?